you can have more bloating, you can have more gas, you can struggle more to get to your goals. Why? It doesn't matter if the food is amazing. What matters is how this amazing food is digesting inside your body. Imagine the illusion that people are having, thinking that they are doing a benefit to their bodies, eating specific food or following specific diets, but actually they're becoming more deficient. Yeah, what's the best diet for me? Let's find out here. The first thing that you need to know is you need to understand the difference of diets. Mediterranean diet, the priority in Mediterranean diet is focusing on you can eat grains in Mediterranean diet. What does it mean? Wheat flour, anything made by wheat like pasta. You can eat like brown rice. You can eat legumes. You can eat nuts, seeds, fish, poultry, vegetables, and fruits. In Mediterranean diet is also allow the person to drink wine in moderation. All right, let's see if this is ideal for you or not. Let's see. Paleo. Paleo, what's the difference? Paleo doesn't allow for you to have legumes and grains. No legumes, no grains in paleo. Let's see if it's gonna be best this one for you or not. I'm gonna tell you the difference of each one. You can have in paleo meat, fish, fruits, vegetables. The difference between Mediterranean and paleo, Mediterranean, they prefer more, for example, sweet potatoes is always between non-starchy and starchy vegetables. And also paleo, they increase, they have more red meat as well. Mediterranean, no, Mediterranean is more fish, more chicken. This is really important to understand. And Mediterranean, you can have legumes. Paleo, you cannot. Let's see if this is ideal for you or not. I'm gonna tell you. You're gonna find out what's the best one for you. And then we go to keto, vegan, carnivore. Let's start with Mediterranean here. Okay, you say, wow, okay, legumes are amazing. Nuts are amazing. Seeds, fish, poultry, vegetables, fruits, amazing, okay. But what's the number one thing? Research shows already that Mediterranean diet is the diet that from the whole population compared to other things, that's the most recommended one. But let's go to the problem here, that you can struggle a lot to get to your goals if you choose the wrong one. Mediterranean, for example, you go to grains. Grains, one of the grains is what? Wheat. If you have issues when you consume grains and you even don't know, because grains, when you have wheat, you have gluten, you have ATIs, amylase trypsin inhibitors, you have fructans, and the tight junctions in the line of your gut is not handling that yet. So your gut is not prepared to have wheat. What's going to happen with you when you decide to go and follow a Mediterranean diet? You're going to struggle. Tiago, Mediterranean is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing, but for who? For who? Guys, write this down. Remember, the problem is never the food. You don't find a molecule in the food that's inflammatory. You don't find that. The inflammation doesn't happen in the food. The inflammation happens inside you, in your body. Your body produces the inflammation. So the problem here is not the food. The problem here is it's your body. So you need to find out, you need to know if your body allows you having now grains like wheat flour or not. Grains like brown rice or not. So you need to know this because the problem is not the food. The problem, write this down. The problem is never the food. There is no molecule in any food that is inflammatory by itself. The inflammation happens inside my body. The problem is inside my body. It's in my gut. So you really need to be aware of that. So that's why your husband can focus on Mediterranean diet. And then when you try Mediterranean diet, you feel bloated. Why? Because, for example, grains. And what about legumes? Legumes are amazing. Legumes is one of the top vegetables that you find a lot of vitamins and minerals. One of the main ones, you can even find iron as well. But what's the point? Let's suppose you also struggle with digestion. You have high levels of lectins in the skin of the legume, especially beans, lentils, chickpeas. Amazing. A lot of B complex. Where do I find B complex in one of the vegetables? Legumes are amazing. But what's the problem? If you follow a Mediterranean diet and one of the foods is legumes, and then if your body is not prepared to have legumes because your stomach and the small intestine is struggling to get rid of the lectins that you have here, because you're not cooking, you're not soaking them for at least 12 hours or even 24 hours. You're not chewing the legumes for some reason, or the worst, you have already leaky gut. What's going to happen with you when you eat legumes? You can have more bloating. You can have more Yes. You can struggle more to get to your goals. Why? Because even if the food is amazing, it doesn't matter if the food is amazing. What matters is how this amazing food is digesting inside your body. What's going on inside your body when this amazing food that you're eating is inside of you? You really need to know that. Same thing, guys, with same thing with nuts and seeds. You need to know if your body is allowing that or not. Many people have that reaction. For example, I know someone who have allergies to nuts, any nuts. Brazil nuts, cashews, almonds, pistachios, like any nuts. And then if the person will follow a Mediterranean diet, what's going to happen with her? She's going to struggle because if she eats nuts, she's going to have a big reaction. Many of you have allergies to some specific healthy food and you are not aware of that. For example, fish. Fish is amazing. Fish is amazing. But if you see the category of the top 10 allergens, one of the top 10 allergens is fish. So many people have allergy to fish. But it's in the Mediterranean diet and fish is amazing. But that's the point. At the end of the day, if you focus on the diet, you're going to struggle because the priority is never the diet. The priority is always how your body deal with each specific food and what also depending on the season because now your body can react to almonds. But if you do the right treatment inside your gut, in 1 month from now, your body can start accepting almonds again. Besides that, the way that you eat almonds can literally dictate if your body will accept or will reject. If you eat just the almonds like that compared to almond butter, your body can accept more almond butter instead of the almond nut by itself for you to eat. You really need to go to these micro details of each food because that's what matters the most. Like, for example, and then you go to paleo. Paleo, amazing, great. In paleo, there is no legumes. So if you have a struggle, if you have problems with legumes, doing paleo, there's no legumes. In paleo also, there is no grains. There is no brown rice or wheat flour in paleo. Okay, if you have issues with this, paleo would be fine for you. Okay, let's see if that's true. Let's see. In paleo, you have also, you can eat meat, you can eat fish, you can eat fruits, you can eat vegetables. Let's go to the vegetables. Wow, vegetables are amazing. You are starting your diet doing like paleo. And then you eat eggplant in your plate. Eggplant is super high in lectin and is a nightshade that's really high in lectins, especially in the skin. Eggplant is amazing. But what if your body is not prepared yet to have that eggplant because your body is struggling to digest that amount of lectin that you're consuming? What if? What if some vegetables they ferment for hours inside your gut? For example, Thiago, I know that cruciferous, Thiago, you told me that cruciferous are a powerful type of vegetables that can help modulate my hormones because they are high in indole tricarbinol. You told me this, Thiago. And then I say to you, yes, I told you that. And then you start eating like crazy. But hold on, wait. Don't go crazy. Why, Thiago? Why? Because at the same time, cauliflower, for example, any brassica, cruciferous, they are great in indole tricarbinol. But if your gut is not ready to have some high FODMAP foods, why, Thiago? Because cauliflower, broccoli, when you eat in more amount, it can spend too much time fermenting. They are considered high FODMAP foods. So if your gut is not prepared for this amazing food, what happens with you? You eat the amazing food, but it's becoming a terrible feeling, a terrible reaction. Why? Because you are still prioritizing the food instead of prioritizing your gut. That's a problem here that I see every single day. Who is understanding this? Say I. I want to see here. Anybody who is understanding that, say I. And then you say, no, Thiago, but I really struggle to follow and to learn all the foods that are amazing for me, but it's because of my husband. Thiago, it's because I have kids. Thiago, it's because I have a job. Thiago, it's because my boss is letting me going crazy and I'm really stressed out. Write this down. Like Epictetus said, when I'm ignorant, I blame others. When I start getting knowledge, I just blame myself. And when I become wise, I blame no one. So guys, if you still have this behavior of blaming people, you're not getting to your goals, you're not reducing your inflammation, you're struggling with food, meal prepping. If you are still blaming things or others, you are still not in the category of wisdom. Because of what? When we are ignorant, we blame others. When we start getting knowledge, we blame ourselves. And when we are wise, We blame no one. There's no one to blame. We just have to take action, do what we are supposed to do. And what we are always supposed to do is always taking care of ourselves first. First, not second, not third, not second. Priority of all of us is taking care of ourselves first. That's priority. So you need to learn that stuff. If you're not learning that stuff, the best food for you, your husband eats an almond and your husband doesn't have bloating. And then when you eat almond, you have bloating. That's already a red flag, even if almonds are amazing. You need to know what's going on with me here. Let me find out. Let me study. That's why you are here with me. Check this out. And then you go to keto. Amazing. Keto, many people lose weight. But what's the tricky part and what's the problem here with another diet when you follow keto? The first thing, if your body is not prepared to have keto, to follow a keto diet, every single time that you start, imagine, you have groups of bacteria in your gut. Bacteria that are already adapted to the carbs that you already consume. All the bacteria are adapted to the protein that you consume. All the bacteria adapted already to the vegetables that you consume. And then you go to keto diet. Boom. What's the first thing that can happen with you? Imagine that you are struggle with stress. And then you go to keto, your stress can increase even more. Tiago, why is that? Because many carbs, once you consume, they're high in tryptophan. You can increase serotonin, the neurotransmitter serotonin, that's inside your body, converting melatonin, that's crucial for your sleep, for you to calm down, for you to quiet your amygdala. But if you're not heavy, if your body is not prepared to drop your carbs like crazy, guess what's one of the first symptoms that start happening with you? Low energy, more stress, more anxiety, lack of patience. You literally feel that your patience drops. And then the worst, you always struggle when someone invites you to go to a party, to go to a restaurant. You always struggle. So that's why it's never about the diet. It's all about, is your body ready to follow a keto diet or not? Is your gut, your bacteria ready to drop all this amount of carbs right now or not? Because in keto diet, you will stay around like 20 grams, maximum 20, 30 grams. That's the average of carbs per day. Maximum 50 grams of carbs per day. That's the limit. And the other things are fat, healthy fat, and protein. Is your gut prepared for you to do this? What about your mental health? Are you really, really strong mentally? You're really managing your stress and your anxiety for you to start following a keto diet? If the answer is no, guess what's going to happen with you? By the way, do you have emotional eating symptoms? Do you eat by impulse many, many times? If the answer is yes, keto diet is never ideal for you. Because once you finish your keto diet, you're going to gain everything back again. Because you didn't prepare here first. You didn't prepare your gut. Guys, and another thing, remember, if you have a real problem with your hormones. Tiago, I have hormone imbalance. It's really bad. Remember that many nutrients in your food are crucial to balance your hormones. And then imagine that you are avoiding a bunch of foods, like a bunch of carbs. You don't eat sweet potato. You don't eat potato. You're not eating. And then at the same time, you are just prioritizing healthy fats. One of the healthy fats is what? Like meat, red meat. But what if your stomach struggles to digest that red meat? And then that's the next one. We go to carnivore. Let me go to carnivore. And then after, the last one will be vegan. Carnivore diet is getting popular. Carnivore diet, a group of people are feeling good doing carnivore diet. And another group of people are feeling bad doing carnivore diet. What we already know. Guys, remember, all these diets here, many people can get great results. And many people can feel worse once they stop following this, like all this diet. That's why I always wanted to prioritize. Priority is your body, your gut. How's your gut? Where is this inflammation that you have now is coming from? You need to pick the foods based on this, not based on the diet. But carnivore, priority number one of carnivore diet is animal protein. Red meat, a bunch of red meat. Red meat. You can also have chicken in carnivore diet. You can also have a little bit of dairy, like eggs, you can have in carnivore diet. But the majority is meat, red meat. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Hold on. That can be great. But If your stomach, you are older, you are 40 years old, it means that you are older than 20 years old. So you're 20 years older. When you were in your 20s, your stomach was producing a lot of stomach acid in great amount, healthy amount. Now you are 40. Now the stomach is not having the same capacity. And then you increase, you go carnivore, and then you start eating more meat, more animal protein. Animal protein take hours to digest. If your stomach, write this down, if my stomach is not producing enough stomach acid, the protein that I'm eating will never be digested correctly. And if the particle of the food goes from my stomach and goes to my intestine, the small intestine, my bacteria in my gut will start fermenting. And this will start creating what? Write this down. Putrescine and cadaverine. Tiago, what is that? They are molecules that smells like crazy. So your bacteria produce that when you don't digest protein correctly. And one of the main reasons is because you're getting older, you're not treating your stomach to digest all these foods. And once you increase foods that are harder to digest, like animal protein, you can increase cadaverine and what? Do you guys remember? Guys, you really need to understand this. I always want to test you guys here. You really want to understand. Because every single time that these molecules that your bacteria produce when you are eating more protein, this is step number one. Step number one for it to smell. Keep farting like crazy. I remember I met one guy that he used to fart like crazy. Nobody was handling, could not stand and stay close to him because he was farting a lot. But the worst was not that. The smell was terrible. Terrible smell. Why? Putrescine and cadaverine. Putrefaction. Can you imagine? Inside your gut, a putrefaction is happening. Look at this name. Cadaverine. That's the name of the molecule that your gut's producing. What you say to me that if I fart and if it smells really bad, it means that I'm having a lot of cadaverine and putrescine inside my gut? Yes. You really need to know this. Your body speaks to you. If you don't understand this, you struggle. This is carnivore. So that's why you need to really be aware if your body is prepared for that or not. That's a good idea or terrible idea, actually. But let's go to vegan. Oh, Thiago, someone said to me one day, Thiago, I decided that I go vegan now. Vegan. I'm going to go vegan. And then I asked her, great. You're going to emphasize vegetables. Top one food for you to emphasize. Amazing. But let me ask you this question. Did you used to have bloat in the past? She said yes. And then I asked, did you used to have low energy in the past? She said yes. Did you used to struggle to eat some food and then did you used to struggle of pain, like with pain? Did you have any stomach pain eating some kind of vegetables? She said yes. Guys, you're just asking to increase your problems if you focus on, for example, you go vegan like that. If she said to me that she had low energy and then she goes vegan, what's the one nutrient that vegans struggle to reach to have enough? Iron. Write this down. Iron. Vegans struggle a lot to have iron. Where is the food that you find source of iron the most? Animal food, animal protein. So that's one of the reasons why vegans always struggle with iron. What's another nutrient that vegans struggle to achieve? Vitamin B12. Why? Because vitamin B12 you find more in animal food. Did you guys get that? You really need to understand. Tiago, what else? Guys, you go vegan. What about your omega-3? Omega-3 is crucial to reduce inflammation. Tiago, but I'm eating some nuts, some seeds that are high in ALA. Write this down. ALA. It's a type of omega-3 that vegans can consume more. But what's the problem here? ALA that you find in some nuts or some seeds. For example, chia seeds. You find ALA. Once a vegan consume this conversion of going ALA to DHA or EPA to become like a real omega-3 that's active, that your body really needs, is not guaranteed. Tell what does it mean? It means that when you are vegan and you consume a bunch of food high in ALA, because someone told me that I really need to increase my omega-3 fatty acids. It doesn't mean that your body is converting in DHA and EPA. So it doesn't mean that you're increasing your omega-3. Imagine the illusion that people are having, thinking that they are doing a benefit to their bodies, to themselves, eating specific foods or following specific diets, but actually they're becoming more deficient. So vegans struggle with vitamin B12 because you just find in animal foods. Vegans struggle with iron intake. They struggle a lot. And omega-3. So imagine if your issue is already low energy, you're going to struggle 10 times more with that because you're going to struggle even more with iron. Besides that, your struggle is energy, low energy, and then you're going vegan. B12 is crucial for energy production. Your mitochondria needs that. If there is no vitamin B12 enough in your system, especially in your cells, you don't have enough energy. Ah, Tiago, I really want to reduce my inflammation. If you don't have enough omega-3 inside your body, you don't reduce all your inflammation and keep it low. Omega-3, it's a must for all of us. Can you guys understand the mistake that you make when you prioritize diets? That's why in my program, we never say, let's focus on this diet. In our program, we don't focus on, okay, now you're going to do keto diet. Now you're going to do vegan. We don't focus on this. We focus on first, what's the symptom that my client is having? And then based on this, we have to adapt the nutrition plan around that. If that person is already having low energy, the person can never drop her carbs fast like crazy because her body is not adapted to drop that amount of carbs. Why, Thiago? Because you have two sources of energy. You have ketone bodies that you get from fat. It becomes energy in your body, so your body utilizes that ketone bodies, and also glucose that you get from carbs, the sugar that you get from carbs. Imagine if you are already struggling with low energy, and then you go crazy, and then you follow a diet that should drop that amount of carbs. You're literally say to your body, I know that you are not adapted. I made you really adapted to get energy from glucose, from carbs, body. But now, body, I will just go crazy and then I'm going to just drop all of a sudden the source of energy that you utilize the most. Your body will complain like crazy. So you can have more headache, low energy, blah, blah, blah. What's the point here? If you do this, you need to do that transition slow. In one single day, you never drop your carbs like crazy. That's wrong. Ah, Thiago, I have insomnia. And then you forget to eat carbs in the evening. You're going to have more insomnia. Wrong. Sometimes I see some people making this mistake of, I'm going to just become healthy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to follow this thing here. And then they forget to eat carbs in the evening or have carbs in the afternoon. Guys, your body is not prepared to do that strategy. That's wrong. You have insomnia. Your body is not adapted to get energy from ketone bodies. From fat. Your body is not adapted to that. Your body your body right now is lazy. Your body is prioritizing what's easy to utilize for source of energy. Carbs are easy to digest. Your body is adapted to that. So why are you're going to do something that your body is not adapted? If you want to readapt your body, you need to know exactly what you need to do, how to adjust that. Otherwise, you're going to screw all your results because you will not have the mental capacity to sustain that diet. That's why I always say in my program, we don't focus on any specific diet. In my program, there is no rule. In my program, write this down. There is no rule of, for example, I say, everyone is a must. Everyone should take, for example, this type of protein. It's not a rule in my program because if someone in my program has reaction to that type of protein, I will say, no, okay, don't eat that source of protein because your body is not prepared for that. It's not because the protein is bad, that type of food, of protein. It's because your body is not prepared to have that. But you insist. Thiago, yeah, I'm eating gluten-free. It's a grain, but it's gluten-free I'm eating. But who told you that your gut is struggling only with gluten? Who told you that? Your body can struggle with what? With ATI. Write this down. ATI. It's a molecule that you find in wheat. Show me the foods that you are having with wheat. ATI, amylase trypsin inhibitors. It's a molecule that you find in wheat. Even if you are eating gluten-free pasta. But what's the point here? The problem is not the ATIs. ATI, amylase trypsin inhibitor, ATIs. The problem is not the ATI. The problem is not gluten. The problem is your body dealing with that. That's why your husband eats a bread. Your husband doesn't have any reaction to bread. And then once you eat bread, you have bloating. That's why you can never say to me, Thiago, so what should I do? I'm going to eat what my friend is eating because she's losing a bunch of weight. She's not having inflammation. She's not having bloating. And then you eat the same food that your friend is eating, following the same diet, but you never get the same results that your friend is having. Why? Because maybe your friend doesn't have leaky gut, but you have leaky gut. Maybe the hormonal issue that your friend is having is only related, for example, with melatonin hormone. But your case, the issue of hormone that you're having is related to your insulin hormone and your cortisol hormone and your estrogen hormone. Guys, completely different cases. That's why in my program, I always want to make sure that everybody's learning. If my clients are not learning, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because if you don't understand Because imagine, right here, you are 40 years old. In 1 year from now, you're gonna turn 41. In 1 year from now, your gut will be different already. What are you gonna change in your diet, in your nutrition plan? Ah, Thiago, I don't know. If you don't know, it's already a red flag. Red flag, your gut will be different. In 1 year from now, your gut will be different. Even your mindset can be different. Your experiences in life will be different. The way that you look at things are supposed to be different in 1 year, after 1 year. Your hormones will be different. Your stomach producing stomach acid in 1 year from now will be different. What are you gonna change and adapt and adjust in your food in 1 year from now? Ah, Tiago, I don't know. I'm just following a diet. No, 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 no. In this case, you're just asking to feel frustrated forever. You're asking that. You're just asking that because you're not learning. You're just following. You are following something. You're not learning. You really need to learn what's going on with you. That's why my program, if you ask, what's the biggest difference of your program? It's a course. I want to make sure that people are learning. It's a course. Video trainings. They apply. For example, they try one thing. If they feel that's not 100%, they need to adjust. The more they adjust, the more they adapt, they are going to keep learning, keep learning. That's what I want. I like when you are always learning. You made a mistake. I made that mistake because of this. Let me do this instead. Now I got it. You are open. You are getting clarity. Guys, write this down. When we don't have clarity in life, life is confusing and we never get to our goals. Because that's why people who have a lot of distractions, they are lost. They don't know what to do. Why? Lack of clarity. That's why many of you are following a bunch of diets, different diets. You're always struggling. Why? Lack of clarity. You think you're still here thinking that a specific diet is ideal for you. I just told you everything here about the diets. Just told you everything. Do you guys get that? Someone said here, how do we know we are intolerant to certain foods if we don't have inflammation? The first thing, Yali, you need to first know if you really don't have inflammation or you have inflammation. Many of you think you don't have inflammation, but most of you have inflammation without knowing that. Why? Because you went to your doctor and then you thought that CRP levels is the only marker of inflammation. Guys, write this down. CRP levels in your blood test, it's for you to find out if you have acute inflammation. It's not for you to find out that you have chronic inflammation. Because acute inflammation, we are not focused on acute. We are focused on chronic. CRP levels doesn't measure chronic inflammation. So if you go to a doctor and then the doctor said, no, you don't have inflammation because your CRP levels are low. Red flag. Run away. Go to another doctor. Go to another doctor. There are many other markers that you really need to find out if the inflammation is chronic. Fibrinogen, interleukin 6 for you to check. Your ferritin levels, if the ferritin is high, this can be a sign of chronic inflammation. There are many other markers. And then you're still prioritizing, your doctor is only prioritizing CRP levels. Big illusion. It's like when you go to some doctor and you want to see your thyroid health, and then your doctor only check your TSH and your T4. But forget to check your T3. The active form of thyroid is T3, but you're checking only T4 and TSH. Run away. Go to another doctor. Go to another doctor. But good question here, Yali. How do we know if we are not intolerant? Guys, write this down. Intolerance is another thing. It's different to allergy. Intolerance is when you don't have the enzyme. You consume dairy. Milk. You have what? Lactose. Remember, guys, the problem is not, I'm going to repeat this 1,000 times. The problem is never the food. The problem is your body. How your body deal with the food, okay? You consume that. It's high in lactose. Your body needs to have enzyme called lactase for your body to have the capacity to break this lactose down, to break it down, to making smaller molecules for your body to digest and absorb. If your body doesn't have enough enzymes, lactase, what's going to happen? You're going to have lactose intolerance. Your gut will react because your body is struggling. There is no enzyme to digest. So you're not digesting that lactose. And then you start having what? One of the symptoms, Yali. One of the symptoms is what? Diarrhea. One specific food that you are having intolerance. That's different to allergy. Don't confuse here. That's why I always focus more on allergies, because intolerance can be easier for you to find out. It's easier. Guys, write this down. Intolerance is easier for me to find out compared to allergy. Because allergy, I have different types of allergies. Allergies that I can react fast. For example, I eat shrimp and then I still feeling that a reaction. Here, it's becoming red. Itchy skin. This is an instant reaction. You can do this even allergic testing. That's one type of allergy. But the other type of allergy is when you have delayed allergy. When you eat something now, you eat nuts. For for example, or you eat wheat flour, and up to 3 days. Scientific literature research already shows that the manifestation of the allergy can take up to 3 days, up to 72 hours. And then, for example, you eat a pasta, one example, today, you can have a headache because of that trigger, that delayed allergy. In 3 days, you will never find out what was the food that created that trigger. You will never find out. That's why you always need to learn about foods that your body is accepting well, foods that your body is not accepting. So that's why I teach this in my program. So use Yali, one of the symptoms of intolerance is when you have diarrhea. Stomach pain, when the pain is really bad, instantly when you eat the food, that's another sign as well. That's another sign, all right? When you are having chronic constipation, that can be related more to allergy. When you have diarrhea, it's more related to intolerance. All right? You really need to know this, guys. You have no idea how this is important. I showed you already that the answer to fix your issues is not focused on any specific diet. Nothing. It's focused on your body. You know that. I just told you. All right? That's why your friend gets amazing results eating some type of foods, and then when you try to repeat, you don't see the same result. That's why you really need to understand that you are unique. But let me tell you one thing here. I always want to tell you this about, remember, if the plan that you are making to get your best physique, to feel the best inside, have that inner peace, when you look in front of the mirror, you feel the best. If you are only focusing on a food, you don't sustain anything. There is another area in your life that's a must for you to create the foundation for your overall health. Because when you talk about health, it's not only physical health. It's not only about food. What about your emotional health? What about your mental health? What about your spiritual health? That's why I always want to plant that seed with you, because this verse here hit hard today. I read this verse and it hit hard because I love that. Check this out. Let me show you this. Look at that. I'm gonna plant a seed now inside your brain. So you just start watering. Sooner or later, a beautiful tree will grow inside your brain. You're gonna see the world differently. About yourself, about your food, about your organs inside your body. You're gonna look at that different. So a verse that hit me hard, really hard in the Bible. Look at that. In Jeremiah 17:7. Look at that. But blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. Look at that part. Imagine now you are a tree. You look like a tree. Imagine. He will be like a tree planted by the water that sends out its root by the stream. It does not fear when heat comes strong. Its leaves are always green the whole year. It has no worries in a year of drought and never fails to bear fruit. Imagine becoming that type of tree, giving fruits throughout the year. That's what I really want to my life, and that's what I really wish that everybody, all of you guys, start thinking about it. You are overflowing so much love to yourself. You are thinking twice about the food that you're eating, that you're spreading that love. Why? Because you are having a strong tree. You are giving fruits. Why? Because you're taking care of the spiritual health as well. I always wanted to be aware. I just wanted to give you that awareness. Just to awake and start studying about that. I love that part. Okay? Any question? If you really want a customized program, holistic program that talks about all that stuff, just reach out to me, send me a DM, and then we can discuss how I'm going to help you. Okay? If it's a fit for you to join our program, focus on a holistic approach that doesn't focus on one specific diet. Focus on the issues, the root cause that you're facing. All right? Have a great day.